Good morning. Javier Becerra, Chairman of the Democratic Caucus. Pleased to be joined by our Vice Chairman, Joe Crowley, and by our two ranking members, Sandra Levin of Ways and Means and Chris Van Hollen of Budget. We had a caucus meeting where we discussed any number of things, but certainly the principal interest of the members was to discuss this latest proposal by Republicans to keep these manufactured fiscal cliffs moving and continuing. And we're hoping that at some point we'll try to echo the words of the president, who in his inauguration said, this is our generation's task, to make words, rights, the values of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness real for every American. Well, one of the ways we can do that is to try to continue the economic growth that we've seen under the first 4 years of President Obama. But it's tough when you see that we have the economy, the American people, interest rates, and certainly the ability to govern held hostage to these manufactured crises where every once in a while there will be a ransom put out and the American people have to try to respond. I've said it before, this is no way to run the smallest business on Main Street. Neither is it a way to run the largest economy in the world by having these short-term temporary stopgap measures in place where we should be moving forward robustly, aggressively to deal with the real and the biggest deficit we face, and that's the jobs deficit, getting Americans back to work. We hope that this House will do something more than behave in ways that have now left it with approval ratings below 10%, where head lice and traffic jams have more support with the American public than does the elected leadership in the House of Representatives. And it's time for us to govern. And we hope that some issues were disposed of at the ballot box in November so that we could actually get to the chore of governing. We hope we can work with our colleagues across the aisle and working then with the White House, we can get some real big things done for this country to get those jobs where we need them for Americans who are searching hard, and also deal with all the different major issues that confront our nation, which we think as Democrats we can tackle. We certainly know we have a leader in President Barack Obama who is ready to take on that task, as he made very clear this week in his inauguration address, and we hope to hear more from him soon in a couple weeks in his State of the Union. So we're ready to work. We hope that this legislating by fiat, where Republicans propose something, never once asking Democrats, more than 200 Democrats in the House and in the Senate for their input, that perhaps that we'll find is that there will be a time when we can have that meeting of the minds in Congress so we can work aggressively with the President to move this economy forward. And with that, let me turn to our Vice Chairman, Mr. Crowley.
Thank you, Mr. Becerra, Mr. Chair. At a time when our economy, our country, our small businessmen and women, people who are asking the question whether or not they can afford to send their children to college, can they afford to buy that home they want, instead of creating certainty for that public, my Republican colleagues with this gimmick bill will just simply create an additional fiscal cliff. A new cliff will be created by this bill at a time when we need more certainty. That's not what the American people are sent this year to do. They have sent this here to deal with the tough issues at hand, and it's my hope that at some point this Congress will get back to working in a bipartisan way to really address the issues at hand, and that is creating an economy, a strong economy for job growth, job creation in this country. This bill does not do that. And with that, I will turn the microphone to Sandy Levin, the ranking member of the Ways and Means Committee.
Thank you. The Republicans are playing political games with the debt ceiling in America's economy. They're creating more uncertainty instead of more certainty. They did this once before, the summer of 2011, and we'll remind them of the danger in doing that. In the summer of 2011, a drop in Dow Jones, 2,000 points. We had in 1 month the worst job creation in 3 years. The credit rating of this country was downgraded. It is a mistake to play politics with the debt ceiling once again. And now the ranking member of the Budget Committee, Chris Van Hollen.
Thank you, Sandy. It's good to be here with my colleagues. Look, the good news is that our Republican colleagues finally realized that America should pay its bills and dropped their condition that be matched by cuts. The bad news is they've decided that America only needs to pay its bills for 3 more months. And in doing that, they've essentially taken the position that they're going to create more uncertainty in the economy, continue to hold the economy hostage. And the irony is that for the last 2 years, Republicans complained every day about the uncertainty hanging over the economy and how that cloud was hurting job creation. And yet, in this latest political gimmick, they've decided to maintain exactly that kind of uncertainty. And we know what happened in August of 2011 when they played the same game. It was the worst month in terms of job creation. Our credit rating was downgraded. And both the GAO and the Bipartisan Policy Center concluded that it was costing taxpayers in the billions of dollars. And so that's what they're doing once again. The American people deserve a jobs plan, as the chairman of the caucus indicated, and all the Republicans are giving them is a plan that will hurt jobs, hurt the economy by keeping that cloud of uncertainty before us, and all for political posturing and political gamesmanship, trying to exact leverage for political purposes by holding the economy hostage on a month-to-month basis.
Questions? Yes.
All of you have been very critical of this bill today. Are you all voting against the bill today? And do you expect many Democrats to vote for it if you think it will pass?
And I'd like my colleagues to join me in answering, but we keep looking for ways to get past this manufactured crisis after manufactured crisis. As the President said, we should not be holding the American people hostage on this debt ceiling issue. We know that America pays its bills. We have troops in Afghanistan who are wearing armor that we paid for. And we have to pay the bills for that equipment, for the training. We pay our bills. And what we're simply saying is that it's time for America to be able to move forward, understanding that we have to pay our bills, but we have a lot of Americans who are looking for what we're doing to help stimulate the economy to create those jobs. This bill doesn't do it. A lot of members want us to be able to move forward responsibly. Some members may decide to vote for this legislation because they'd rather see the whole issue of paying our bills not be held over our heads to extract ransom from the American public in other ways. And some believe that not only is this unconstitutional to do, but it violates our own trust with our constituents that we're going to try to move forward without these manufactured crises that are completely man-made that keep us from actually doing what most Americans want, is to provide them the certainty to move forward and know that they can, if they're a business person, hire more people, or if they're workers, to know that they're going to keep that job and be able to send that child to college. So I think you're going to find that Democrats are united in saying that this is not the way to govern, but we will not be irresponsible the way some of our colleagues have decided to be by having these crises that are manufactured by members of Congress. I'm prepared to vote no.
Do you essentially view this as, the only alternative here is a straight, clean debt ceiling for whatever the associated period would be? We've heard the administration talk about this. I know that the Republicans tried to call your side's bluff in May or June of last year by putting a straight debt ceiling bill on the floor, which failed. What is the...
The answer is yes. We should not continue to have the sword of default over the heads of Congress and the American economy. It's a mistake.
Can I just add to that? What is the ultimate goal here? Is the ultimate goal just to continue to have this, as Mr. Levin describes it, as a sword over the heads of the American people, over our economy, when what we're looking for is stability? When we're not looking for the creation of additional cliffs. The American people want less cliffs, and more responsive government. This is not responsive government. This just creates more uncertainty. And I think what we need to do is create more certainty. As the president has said, I mean, he is not going to negotiate anything over the debt ceiling. He repeatedly has said that. He continues to say that. Why do we think that? Well, why do the Republicans believe that the more they delay this, the more he's going to come around to that? Nor should we. We should not put in jeopardy the full faith and credit of the United States for political gamesmanship.
Do any of you have an issue with the fact that they are suspending the debt limit rather than raising it by a number? Do you see any consequences to that?
Well, Chris or anybody?
Go ahead.
Absolutely. We're tinkering with an economy that's recovering. We're tinkering with a democracy that was established over 200 years ago in ways that hurt not the politicians in Washington, but hurt American families who have a car loan, a home mortgage, a student loan for their child to go to college. Those are the folks who are going to lose if this gamesmanship that Republicans are playing by digging the hole and creating the cliff, these economic cliffs, continues, because those of us in Congress, we're not going to suffer the consequence of not being able to send our child to college. It's the American people who are trying to recover here. And so it is time for us to work the way Congress used to work, bipartisanly. This is not a time to start using the American people as hostages to try to extract things you couldn't get at the ballot box.
Yeah. I mean, just to add to that, I mean, look, it's another example of how House Republicans are playing games with the American public. This was obviously an effort for them to hide what the amount would be in terms of having to lift the debt ceiling. They didn't want their members to go home and level with the American people with respect to the costs that would be incurred. And this was just a convenient way for them to escape responsibility for their decisions, try and create the perception that they're finally taking responsibility without having to level with their constituents on what the actual increase would be in terms of the debt ceiling.
Could I just add, just quickly, it makes it easier perhaps for some Republicans to vote for it, but makes it much more difficult to handle it in terms of the economy of the United States.
One last question.
Mr. Van Hollen, the Republican leadership is alluding to the fact that they may introduce a budget that would balance in 10 years. And as you know, the last Ryan budget didn't balance until 2040. How do you see a scenario in which they balance the budget in 10 years? And are you worried that that budget is going to be such a poison pill that it won't go anywhere?
Well, what we're hearing is that in order to get support from some of their Tea Party members, they had to promise to cut even more deeply than the Republican Ryan budget did last year. That means that more seniors are going to be left on their own with respect to Medicare. Their plan, of course, would privatize, would voucherize Medicare. It would mean that the value of that voucher would decline even more rapidly compared to rising health care costs, and the seniors would be left to eat all those rising health care costs. At the same time, as far as we can tell, they're not planning to close any of those tax breaks for high-income individuals for the purpose of reducing their deficit, right? We heard a lot of talk during the campaign from Governor Romney and Congressman Ryan about all those tax breaks that benefited very wealthy people. Well, let's close some of those to reduce the deficit. They don't want to do that. So if they're going to adopt the plan we're hearing about, they're going to sock it to seniors. They're going to hit our important investments in our kids' education. They're not only going to hurt seniors who we've made promises to, but they're going to refuse to invest in our future and our kids. So yeah, it's another sign that the Tea Party has sort of hijacked the process on the Republican side.
Thanks very much. Thank you.